Dean Cresta, can you see that on your end? Or
I sure can.
Okay, terrific. So this is where like the drum roll is, right? But there's no drum roll. So for all our students and guests and faculty and staff joining us, welcome this morning to our engineering orientation for fall 2021. We're so excited to have you join us. On behalf of the College of Engineering, it's a really exciting time to have you all as new first-year students. What a significant time to be joining our college, embarking on becoming professional engineers, right? Both at this current juncture in time, as different things are happening around the world, but also as our first class of our brand new re-engineered curriculum. We might also have some second-year students joining us, kind of as a refresher of sorts. As we all can appreciate, these are a bit strange times. So if we do have second-year students also joining us this morning, just a warm welcome to you as well. My name is Sarah Bechter, and I'm one of 3 academic advisors here at the Engineering Student Center. I'll be introducing myself a bit later on, so I'll save a more detailed introduction for then. So just a few housekeeping details, just so our session can be quite a nice session and we all really can benefit and learn together. So please note that today's session is being recorded. And it will be shared out in the future for any students who are unable to attend today. So just wanting to let everyone know that it will be recorded. Also, we have a lot of neat things on our agenda for today's virtual welcome this morning. So we do ask that you keep the chat function to a minimum. My colleague Carlene has put a message there, and I'll just ask her to repost that message just for anyone who has joined us. The idea here is that we can focus on whoever is presenting, whatever cool trivia game we're doing, our student speakers, Dean Cresta, and then we will have some time for frequently asked questions, as well as an open Q&A session at the end. So we definitely appreciate there's lots of questions, lots of exciting things, but also maybe a few worrisome things. So we absolutely will get to those. Okay, so I will ask Caitlin, please go ahead and the next slide, please. Okay, wonderful. So to give you a sneak peek into what we'll be doing this morning during our virtual welcome, we have a number of really neat things. So first up will be Dean Cresta, our college dean, who will bring greetings on behalf of our college leadership team. The next thing that we'll do is I will introduce you to our Engineering Student Center and explain the power and significance of having a relationship with an academic advisor. My colleague Caitlin will take us away the next thing with a trivia game. So if you don't have your phones ready, just kind of grab them from if they're in your bedroom or wherever you are, your kitchen, so that you're ready for that cool trivia game. Number 4 on our agenda, we're going to look at some key tips, not too many, just the key ones so that you can thrive this week, next week, and perhaps the following week. Number 5, we're going to talk about some frequently asked questions. Number 6, we're going to have 2 of our terrific student leaders, Casey and Sam, join us. Number 7, we're going to touch just as a nice reminder about our building tours that are in person happening this afternoon. You won't see it here, but we're actually doing a bonus Q&A. So that Q&A is going to come at the end. So even though today's session technically says 10:30-ish, I think, or 11 on your invitation, if your questions still haven't been answered, please stick around for that bonus Q&A section. Myself and a few of my colleagues will answer your questions as best as we can. So without further ado, Caitlin, please take us to our next slide.
Thanks, Sarah. It's great to see a lot of familiar names in the chat. I've been working with all of you guys over the past year, so it's super great to finally see you at orientation. So I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dean Suzanne Cresta. So, and she's here to give you guys a welcome on behalf of the College of Engineering and to mark the amazing, we're here, we made it to re-engineered and you guys the first class. So I'll pass it off to Dean Cresta.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. And I want to add to Caitlin's comment that it's wonderful, amazing to have everybody here. We're seeing more and more people on campus. After a year and a half away from campus, it is remarkable to be back. We're doing a soft start, and so a number of your lectures will be online. We're having as much face-to-face activity as we can, And the decision has been made that we will be masking for at least the first part of the fall term. Those decisions are made pretty much on a month-by-month basis. But for now, we'll be using masks. And I think this is to everybody's benefit for a number of reasons. So I just wanted to give you that update. There's also a pop-up vaccination clinic been announced. So if you are in Saskatoon and you do need to get that done, you can get that done on campus. We're trying to make it as easy as possible and as safe as possible for everybody. No, that's the housekeeping part. That's the safety announcement that engineering leaders often have to do. I, more importantly, am excited, thrilled, looking forward to hearing how things go. This is the first year of our re-engineered first year program. And we continue to put things together. I was working on my Canvas site just before I turned on my microphone. So those of you that haven't seen anything yet, those will be switching on over the day today. Please know that we're working on them in real time and the materials are coming together and we know that you need them and messages will be going out. So hang in there. By the time you need it, the information will be there. And I know a lot of your questions are going to be answered really clearly and really well today. So one thing that I would say that I'm really excited about with the first year program is that we're moving people through in registration blocks. So it will be a lot easier for you to get to know people quickly, form a network of support among other students. I have two daughters who went through engineering and both of them had this realization partway through first term that their friends were finding it a step up from high school, and it was better to reach out than to try to do everything solo. So I really want to encourage you to take advantage of that registration design to get to know your classmates and really share with them what you're working on, what you're trying to sort out, and lean into that social part of your education as well as the technical part. The second thing that I wanted to say from the Dean's office, which is at a really, really high level, the underlying design of the first year program is building competencies. And what this means is we're going to identify the skills that are core for your success as you go down the road. And the testing is going to be designed so that you know that you've mastered that piece before you go on. So we're working our way through this. We're really excited about the design. We think it's going to work a lot better for everybody. And we're continuing to move that forward. I know that we're on a tight timeline this morning, and I think I was asked to talk for 5 minutes. I see that it's 9:40. So Caitlin and Sarah, I want to pass things back to you. Wish everybody an exceptional experience as you make it your way to Saskatoon as we move slowly through this term and have a soft start back to face-to-face experience. And just delighted to have each and every one of you with us this year. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Dean Cresta. It's awesome to have you here welcoming our students personally. We really appreciate that. And Dean Cresta really brings lots of sage words of advice. So thanks for that. Also, too, my apologies for anyone who doesn't know Caitlin. Caitlin, can you just quickly introduce yourselves? I'm always assuming that most of our new students know you, but in case they don't, in case any of them haven't yet met you, can you just do a quick introduction? My apologies for skipping over that.
Yeah, so my name is Caitlin Dilsner, and I'm the recruitment officer for the College of Engineering. So I recognize a lot of your names from the Discord, from What is Engineering, from Engineering is More Than You Think, and from emailing with you guys. So it's great to hopefully see you guys in the building finally.
Terrific. Thank you, Caitlin. If you can put that to our next slide, that meet the ESC slide, please. Just the one right before that one.
The slide seems to be corrupted. It's just on my screen, so this is what we got.
Okay, okay, no worries. For our guests joining us, you can just kind of ignore the slide. We did have one in between. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Engineering Student Center in general, what our center does. But again, you know, some of you might be wondering, like, why would I come see an academic advisor? And what the heck is an academic advisor anyways? So a useful analogy about an academic advisor is actually like a park ranger. So imagine that the advisor is a park ranger and you as a university student are a hiker or someone new to camping or exploring the great outdoors. So for any of our international students, you may or may not have had the chance to become familiarized with some of our beautiful national parks. And for our domestic students or Canadian students, I hope that you are very familiar with some of our parks. But our parks here in Canada are majestic, beautiful places. Let's use Banff National Park as an example. So Banff is in Alberta. And suppose you wanted to go there, right, to the national park and do a 40-kilometer hike. It's a new park to you, or perhaps camping is new to you, hiking is new, being in the mountains at a certain altitude is new to you. If you really wanted to, you could try it all by yourself, right? You could eke out your path, do everything alone. But you could also draw upon the experience, skills, and knowledge of a park ranger. A park ranger might tell you perhaps the best trails to take. They might also provide you with a map, right? Because yes, of course, there's websites and apps and all kinds of things, but the park ranger might have the most updated maps. They would help you set your course. In addition, a park ranger could tell you what dangers to be aware of, whether seasonal or long-term. Is it bear season? Perhaps too, the rangers are going to tell you, watch out for that amazing mountain ridge. The vista and the view is beautiful. Academic advisors like park rangers are here to help you navigate being a university student. Just like a park ranger, we won't do the hiking for you. We won't do the camping for you. As students, all of you, of course, you're going to go to classes, study, engage fully in university. In this way, you are all self-directed learners, or you're on the journey to becoming self-directed learners. Again, it's important to remember that as advisors here in the college, we can and do help you figure out many things. So we really look forward to getting to know all of you. This can look like we can help, of course, with classes. We can help you figure out about scholarships, loans, bursaries. Perhaps down the road, maybe you have a health issue or a family issue. We're here to troubleshoot with you, consult, support, and guide you. Again, as the student, you will always decide. We can provide information, support, guidance, but just like the camper or the mountaineer, really, it's your journey, right? It's your education. And so we are here to help you navigate this pretty awesome engineering experience. So I give you this analogy because sometimes academic advising, it's a bit of a mystery, right? So I really want to just unpack this. This analogy isn't mine, it's one of my American colleagues, but I think it's really powerful. Again, as the student, our job as advisors and our privilege really is to empower you to take ownership of your education, your engineering career, because you're starting it right today. This is day one of your journey to becoming professional engineers and ultimately your future. This is when we actually would come to this slide. So again, just bear with me that we lost that in between slide. So at this point in time, I would like to introduce some of our team. So as mentioned here on the slide, we have myself as one of 3 advisors. I'll quickly introduce myself and then I'll let Danielle introduce herself. And perhaps if Noreen wishes, she can also introduce herself. So again, my name is Sarah Bechter. I'm here in the college on the 2nd floor. I know I've met many of you, but some I have not. In my role, I do many things, of course, including advising, but I also work quite a lot with our transfer students, along with a few of my other colleagues in our unit of the Engineering Transfer Credit Office. I also work very closely with our student group leaders. We have almost 25 student groups that are very active, the different student associations. amongst other projects as well. So I'll turn off my camera and I'll let Danielle go next to introduce herself, please.
All right, am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect,
Okay,
Danielle. Awesome.
thank
Thanks.
you. Hi, okay, I'm Danielle Godette, and I've been in the college since 2012. You can find me in 2A13, just in the A wing, right beside the Engineering Student Center front office, or a few doors down. Like Sarah, we do a lot of advising, and most of what we do is academic planning, right? So figuring out your classes for your major and so on and so forth. So that's quite a lot of what we do. I also work with students who have health and wellness concerns. And so as an example, on Friday, we're going to be trying to redo our mental health session with Ryan from Student Outreach. I'll send out an email on that today, hopefully. And I do other things such as awards, continuing awards for students in second year and up. And you'll get a lot of emails from me on things like policies and processes. So just expect to hear from me quite a bit over the year.
Terrific. Thank you, Danielle. Noreen, can you introduce yourself? Are you still here listening?
I am. So
Perfect.
I'm trying to turn on my video. So I'm Noreen Pudicala. I'm the Academic Support Services Coordinator for the college. And my office is in 2A09. So my portfolio includes, like, basically I'm really focused on first year. So most of you, or some of you, might be hearing from me over the course of the term or over the course of the year. My goal really for my job is to make sure that you successfully complete your first year. So if you have any question, just do let me know. At this moment, if you have any issues about your registration, if you want to be moved to half speed or whatever else regarding your classes, please do let me know, and I'll try to help you as much as I can. But at the same time, of course, one message that I would like to tell you is that ultimately it is your responsibility to make sure that you're doing what is right for your academic journey. But at the same time, if you have questions, if you need guidance, we are here. Not knowing is not an excuse, right? So there are resources for you. So any academic question or how to navigate your first year, just let me know.
Thank you, Noreen. Thanks for introducing yourself and letting us know what you do as well. I totally forgot because I was focused on all the slides, but I also help, of course, with recruitment. So that's a big piece of what I do, along with Caitlin and Carlene and Elena and a few of our other colleagues as well. Noreen too as well. Okay, so in addition to on our team, we also have 2 administrative assistants. So later on today, if you are able to join us for a tour, you will walk by our second floor offices. And at the main office, we have 2 admin assistants. And so we are in some staff changes, so you will see the new staff in the next little while. In the meantime, we have some other college staff here on our team who are helping us out. So stay tuned for our new administrative assistants that will be in the front office there here on the second floor. Caitlin, can you go ahead and put the next slide, please? Okay, terrific, thank you. So yet another colleague who works with us closely at the Engineering Student Center is our colleague Elena Vitsui. So Elena stewards our engineering Indigenous initiatives. You'll find her contact information here as well as her email address. If you haven't already connected with Elena, I do encourage you to do so. She works both with our Indigenous students, but also any students who are interested in initiatives or supports for our Indigenous students, pardon me. Also to Elena, I believe will be spearheading our Orange shirt activities near to the end of September. So please do reach out and connect with Elena again if you have not yet done so. Caitlin, the next slide, please. Terrific. So again, our ESC team is quite large, and there will even be other staff that we're not introducing today, but these are the key ones that we really do. Again, if you haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting, we want to be sure to just identify them to all of our first-year students or second-year students joining us today. So as a part of your BE degree later on, you will have the opportunity of participating in our co-op program. I know for many of you this isn't new, but in case it is for some. And our co-op program at present is stewarded by two of our colleagues, so Tracy MacArthur and Glenda Mooney. They work really hard with all of our students on co-op or getting ready for co-op or returning from co-op. So you'll find their contact information there. For the present time, it's totally okay not to worry about co-op. There's lots in this first semester between now and basically January that is first year students that you'll be kept hopping, but really come winter term and beyond, you'll start to hear much more from our two co-op colleagues. So just to kind of put that on your radar. The next slide, please, Caitlin. Awesome. So as you guys have already heard, we had Dean Cresta bring greetings this morning. So she is our college dean. Dr. Bruce Sparling is not able to be here today with us for today's event, but he is the main associate dean academic, whom many of you may kind of cross paths with. He does work more closely with our undergraduate engineering students. And so if you're on the second floor and you run into Dr. Sparling, please do say hello and wave. I'm sure he'd be delighted to meet you as well. Next slide, please, Caitlin. Oh, I think this is you. I think this is your trivia. So I'm just going to turn off my camera and hand it off to Caitlin here, I think. You're okay there, Caitlin?
Yeah. Hello,
Okay,
everyone. So now we've prepared some trivia to help you get to know the college a little bit better. And also just to ask you some fun questions about becoming an engineer. So if you have your phones, please scan the QR code that I have on the screen there. And if you don't have a phone with you, you can type in ahaslides.com/engwelcome. So it looks like I have about 140 people in the game, so I'll just give it a few more moments before I switch my screen over to our trivia game. All right, so it looks like we have 200 people, so I'll just wait a little bit longer, just scan that QR code, and then you will be in the game. The link is ahaslides.com/engwelcome. All right, so it looks like we have most people are in the game. Just waiting a few more moments for everyone to join. All right, I'll just all right, great. Thanks for typing that in the chat. So it's ahaslides.com/engwelcome. All right, so now I'm just going to switch my screen over. All right, and you guys should now be seeing the AHA slides. If one of my colleagues could just let me know if you're able to see that.
Looks great, Caitlin. Yep.
All right, awesome. So the first question that I have for you guys today is, what country are you guys coming from? So I know we have lots of students that are from Saskatoon and from Canada, but I'm curious to see if we have some students from other places around the world. We have Nigeria. Are there any students from any other countries? I'll just wait a few more moments. Awesome. So it looks like we have most of our students are from Canada and Nigeria. All right. Next question I have. Oh, my computer's getting a little glitchy. So what city or town are you guys coming from? So I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So born and raised here in Saskatoon. I also went to the University of Saskatchewan, and I studied business here at Edwards School of Business. All right, so it looks like, wow, lots from Saskatoon. We have some students from Regina. We have Calgary. That's great. So it looks like students from all around the world are joining, or all around Canada and around the world. All right, and the next question I have. So what major of engineering are you most interested in? So we have 8 different majors here at USask Engineering. We have mechanical engineering, chemical, engineering physics, civil, geological, environmental, computer engineering, electrical engineering. So it would be really great that throughout your degree, throughout your first year, you'll be able to experience some of these majors to try to figure out which one is maybe the best fit for you and where your interests lie. All right, so of course it looks like mechanical engineering is the most popular, which is every year it's our most common, most popular major. It's great to see that computer engineering, civil engineering also seem like really popular programs. That's really great. All right, and the next question I have. It's just a little bit glitchy. If you guys could maybe not hit the like and smiley face button, I think that's kind of overloading it a little bit and it's having troubles. All right, so how do you guys feel about starting engineering tomorrow? So I'm a big Office fan. So if you could select which GIF you are relating to right now. So it looks like some of you guys are really excited, some are a little bit nervous. That's great to see. Lots of different feelings with starting tomorrow. And it's great, you know, like with the Labor Day long weekend, you have 2 days of school, kind of get your feet wet, a little bit of a break, and then back into it. All right. So the next question I have for you guys is we have now some trivia. All right, so if you could just put your name in and choose your emoji, then we will start the quiz very soon. All right, so it looks like most of you guys have joined. Just wait a few more moments for the rest of you to join into the game. All right, so looks like most of you joined. Just waiting for a few more students. We have 250. All right, and I will start the quiz. So remember, if you, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. So what are the 2 certificates that we offer? So if you're interested in adding a certificate to your degree, I would highly recommend talking to an academic advisor, and they can help you plan your degree to make sure you're getting all of the required classes you need to complete your certificate. And the certificate that you can do with a USask engineering degree is communication and entrepreneurship. And there's other certificates that you can pursue throughout the university, but these are the 2 that are within our college. So communication and entrepreneurship. And they are at the Ron and Jane School of Professional Development. Right, our second question for today. Who is considered the first, oh, there's a typo. Who is considered the first engineer? So I'm going to see some people, and who is the first engineer? Leonardo da Vinci, Alexander Graham Bell, Nicholas Tesla. Right, and the answer is, if my computer will work for me today, it's Ihotep. And he is from ancient Egypt. All right, so that one did work, but the answer was Ihotep. All right, so question 3, an engineer. Here's a math question. What is pi to 5 decimal places? And you can just type that in on your phone. And remember, the quicker you answer the question, the more points you'll receive. We have a few seconds left. Let's see how many of you guys got that answer. All right, so it looks like a lot of you guys got it. Remember, it was pi to 5 decimal places. So great job for you guys that got that question. All right, your next question is, when was the USask College of Engineering founded? So the picture you see on the background there, that's actually an old photo of the College of Engineering. So was the college founded in 1907, 1912, 1923, 1935, or 1954? And so our college was founded in 1912. And the rest of the university was founded in 1907. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, but 1912 is when our college was founded. All right, the next question here. True or false? The engineering building has burnt down. Has our building burnt down before? I'm gonna give you guys a few more seconds to answer that question. All right, and the answer is true. The engineering building has burnt down, and the photo that you see there in the background is actually a photo of the College of Engineering when it burnt down. So the first photo you saw of the College of Engineering, we actually have a different building than that one because it did burn down. All right, so next I'm going to take a look at the leaderboard, and again, that photo of in the background of the leaderboard is actually another photo of when the building burnt down. So it looks like Dawson, Evan, and Ethan are leading our trivia game. All right, so the next question is, how many student groups does the College of Engineering have? So Sarah actually mentioned this, so were you paying attention? And did you hear how many student groups we have? Is there 4? Is there 7, 15, or 21? And the photo in the background is of our aero design team. They're a really cool group, and they actually design and build airplanes and compete with them. Right, and there are 21. So only 21% of you guys were paying attention to Sarah. Gotta pay more attention. All right, so next question is also about our student groups. All right, fact or fiction? A USask Engineering student group will be launching a satellite into space from the International Space Station. All right, so we'll give you a few more moments. Is this true or is this false? And this is actually true. So we have a student group that is designing a cube satellite, and they're actually on the news not that long ago about this really cool thing, and it's going to be the first satellite that Saskatchewan is going to be launching into space. All right, so this is a little fun fact about the satellite. All right, so the next, let's see, who is in the lead now? All right, so it looks like Xander, Hannah, and Ashlyn have jumped into the lead. All right, so question 8, so we're getting towards the end. So here is a photo of USask Engineering in the 80s. And what do you think these people are doing? Are they applying for admissions? Are they registering for classes? Or are they getting their final grades? So thankfully, all of these 3 things you do online now. So you don't have to do them in person with paper anymore. It makes things a whole lot easier. All right, and these students they're registering for classes. So thankfully, you can do that online now and you don't have to do it in person with paper. All right, so question 9. How many living USask Engineering alumni are there? How many alumni do you think there are? This photo here is one of our engineering alumni, and if you came to our Engineering's More Than You Think, you can hear about where his career took him. Right, and there are, the correct answer is, if my computer will work, I believe it is 12,000 living USask alumni. So great job to the students who got that question right. All right, question 10. Here is another vintage photo. And what is this photo of? Is it the Engineering Students Society's tank truck? Is it the agriculture students pulling a prank on engineering? Or is it an old truck used to study engines? And this is the Engineering Student Society's tank truck. And we actually have 2 members from the Engineering Student Society here with us today. And I guess they can tell us if they still have this truck. All right, so question 11. How much money does USask Engineering give to students in scholarships and bursaries every year? So a good thing to know is, so all of you guys, I'm sure, at least I hope that you knew that there are scholarships for entering students, but there's also scholarships for continuing students. And you can apply for those online, and it's super easy to apply for continuing scholarships. Some are easy as just clicking, yes, I want to apply. So make sure throughout your degree, when you get emails about continuing scholarships, make sure to apply, because there's lots of money to be given away to help you out with your education. $2 million every year. So that's why it's super important to apply for those continuing scholarships as well, because there's lots of money. There's lots of alumni and businesses that are here to help you with your education. Right, so who has donated over $3.5 million to enhance the student experience and learning at USask Engineering? Is it an individual who founded a tech company, large oil and gas company, or engineering alumni? And the answer is engineering alumni. So we have an amazing group of alumni that are here to help and support students. And they donate their time and money to give scholarships, to volunteer, to help build the labs and make them better. So we're really fortunate to have such a great alumni body. And you'll see throughout the college, there's these footsteps, and those are for the EAT. So this is a group of alumni who are students just like you guys that now donate to their time and money to help empower students. All right, so just a few questions left. All right, what is the average wage of an engineering co-op student? So you can apply for the co-op program in your second year. And it's a really great program that you gain experience. It's great to graduate with something on your resume, and it also, you get paid pretty well. And you get paid, drumroll please, $26 an hour, which if you do the math, is about $50,000 a year, which is crazy for a student wage to be that much. And that's an average. So remember, some students are even making more than that. It's a really great way to help pay for your education and get some experience. All right, so the final question that I have today . All right, question 14, the last question, and we will see who is the winner of our trivia game. So, all right, there we go. So according to APIG's salary survey for 2020, The average salary for an engineer is, not including bonuses, so this is an engineer, an average engineer, many different places in their career. And the answer is just over $100,000, which I think is pretty amazing to be going into a career that has such a high wage. Unfortunately, it is not $1 million. I think we all wish it was that much. All right, so now the winner of our trivia game is, it looks like it is Miles. So good job, Miles, followed by Hunter and Steven. All right, so now I'm going to pass it back to Sarah to continue with our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Caitlin. I hope everyone enjoyed that game. It's pretty cool, right? We learned some of these neat trivia facts and yeah, just a nice little healthy competition. I know we can't do games right now in person or activities in the building, this type of thing, right? Like whether it's like other scavenger hunt type things. So it is still pretty awesome to do some of the tech games too. So thanks for doing that cool trivia game for our students, Caitlin. Okay, so I'll just ask for the next slide to pop up there, please. The tips for thriving, if you could flip that one on. While Caitlin's doing that, I will add in the chat the very first aspect, and I know we've kind of touched on this, but I just want to reiterate this as she's looking for that slide. We will just touch on a few key tips during this section. Just some really good reminders as you begin the next few days, Thursday, Friday, and into next week. But before I jump into those tips, I just wanted to reiterate in the chat, this is the link for your schedules. So at the beginning, we had just kind of touched on this for any students who were with us right before we started the session with Dean Cresta. But if you're at all confused or unsure where to go for classes, the link that I put in the chat there, you'll find the first year engineering website updated. So just to explain just really quickly, there's a heading, it's called 2021 Schedules, weeks 1 through 4. And then it's broken down into the sections. So you'll see like the different tabs, section 1, section 2, section 3, all the way to section 10. So I encourage all of our students who are first year students joining us this morning, please go to the website after we're done. You can go ahead, you can just copy and paste it into a browser so that when we're done our session, you don't lose the link. And then you can go ahead and check out your block, okay? Perfect. Okay, so again, just that really good tip there on the scheduling. So Caitlin, please go ahead and the next slide, tip 1. And I'll ask Danielle too. Danielle, if you're comfortable, you go ahead and turn on your camera at this point. Danielle, or audibly, whatever you're comfortable with, Danielle. But Danielle will kind of go back and forth with me just over the next couple tips so that, honestly, that all our students here, you guys will hit the ground running in the next couple days. So I'll just let Danielle do whatever she's comfortable with there. So our number 1 tip, just to really remind all students and to encourage you, please become familiar with your Canvas site for each course. Essentially, Canvas it's your portal, right? And I know many of our students joining us are probably quite tech savvy, probably more tech savvy than me. I'm not that old, but and so I think maybe you're very familiar with the various, and especially because of the pandemic, right? It's a crash course for a year and a half in all kinds of virtual learning. So I know by now, many, if not all of you, are experts in seeking out some of these virtual learning tools. This is one of your top tools, okay? In the link, in the chat too, another colleague, I've asked Carlene to post one of the resources for Canvas. So if Carlene hasn't posted that, I would ask her to do that. Canvas is going to be your best friend. Each course likely will have its own Canvas site. If in doubt, you can always check with your professor, but most, if not all courses, will have your Canvas site. Danielle, maybe you can just jump in and talk about some of the nuts and bolts about Canvas. I know I've jotted them down here on the slide, but maybe share some insights too, if that's okay.
Canvas is pretty new to me as well. So all Canvas is just a platform where your instructor will do things like post the course syllabus, which is the breakdown of your specific course, the assignments, the resources required, etc. They'll post the assignments. And so Canvas is really just your platform, your one stop for each individual class. So you should see a Canvas site, I think, for each specific class you're in. And your instructors will be sending you messages via this Canvas site as well, probably. So it is important to really just keep tabs on this Canvas site. You'll find it in pause, so just pause.usask.ca. You should see in the menu section, Canvas and Blackboard. And if you don't see that, then in the apps at the top section on the left-hand side, you can search. And so search for Canvas. Does that help, Sarah?
That's awesome. That's perfect. Thank you so much. And just like the kind reminder says at the bottom of this slide, like before classes ramp up, or like tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, like please try to be organized, right? It's just going to help you as a student, and then also like engage with your peers and your professors, right? So really, we strongly encourage and recommend just being organized and knowing where to find things, and Canvas, again, is going to be your best friend for this. So that's tip number 1. Caitlin, please, tip number 2. Awesome, terrific, thank you. So tip number 2, just for, thriving these first couple weeks, please be sure to check your USask emails. I can't stress this enough. Your official email address, right? So it's going to be your NSID, or sometimes you'll hear NSID. So it will have your NSID as well as like the @usask.ca or @mail.usask.ca, whatever. But each of you will need to begin checking if you're not already doing it quite often, right? So you want to be checking it multiple times throughout the week. This is where our main university, whether it's from recruitment, admissions, other units, or colleges, if you're taking like an arts and science class or something, whatever, but this is where the university will communicate with you. Our college will for sure communicate with you, the Engineering Student Center, your profs, and anything university related. And then there's a tip there at the bottom about how you can actually you can go into the university site where it talks about the email, and you can forward it through, like, if you have Gmail or all the different things, right? And then it can pop up. Danielle, do you want to add anything to any of that too?
So your USask email with your NSID is the official method of communication. So we will always, as Sarah said, send things to your USask email, and you can change your alias. So right now you probably have your NSID at mail.usask.ca. If you go to mits.usask.ca, you can actually change that. So my email is my first name dot last name at usask.ca. So you can go ahead and change that as well. If you happen to email the ESC, so esc@usask.ca, please email from your USask email and include all the pertinent information, like your student numbers, so we can authenticate your particular query, because we can't discuss a file, of course, unless we can authenticate that. So that's just my stern warning.
No, it's perfect. And Danielle's absolutely right. Like, please, whenever communicating with the ESC, even your college profs too, please do include like your first name, last name, and at minimum your student number, and sending it from your USask email, right? It just helps ensure confidentiality, protect student privacy, and we make sure we're giving you the correct information in case we have 2 students with the same first and last names, right? So it protects you too. That's awesome, Danielle. Caitlin, the next slide, please. Awesome. Okay, so tip number 3 that we really, really recommend in your tips for thriving is read your engineering student handbook. So again, I'll ask for my colleague Carlene to pop into the chat there, just the link again for that first year information, the first year students website, pardon me, on our website that hopefully many of you are checking back in on. Our student handbook, it just has been slightly updated. So many of you will have received, read, combed through the student handbook earlier in spring, right? I think it was about May, June, the first one was released. This is just a slight update. I do strongly, strongly recommend, if you haven't reviewed the handbook, and or you want to kind of refresh certain aspects, please do use the handbook. In the new version, it specifies some very key information. So as a part of our first year curriculum, students do have the option of doing what we're calling, pardon me, the half speed option. Many of you, if this was of interest, you would have already contacted our center, but perhaps there still might be a few students who have joined us this morning or who will be watching the recording afterwards, where the half speed option is of interest. I'm going by memory, so I might be wrong. I think it's on page 19 or around there that you'll find the half speed option explained. The deadlines for the half speed option are in the new released version. So again, please check that out. You'll find also any other deadlines there as well. In the handbook, like it says here on our slide, there's the key dates, the new assessment and teaching, the new teaching framework and the assessment framework that you're going to hear lots about, competency-based assessment. If you go to classes in the next little while and you're still kind of like fuzzy on this, that's okay. But if you want some additional reading material, read more in the handbook, please, because it does kind of just like lay out the key concepts, right? It's different. It's way more student focused. It's better for your learning. It's better for teaching. It's going to be great, but it's different, right? So competency-based assessment, you'll find some key aspects there. And then Danielle, maybe you can just touch on a little bit about academic policies and academic integrity, and just kind of pointing out how students can find those in the handbook and why they're important, please.
For sure. I don't actually know where the pages in the handbook, but what I do as well, because these are really, really important to know, I do send out emails separate, very specifically on policies and integrity. So policy, as an example, particularly relevant at this point in time, is the academic accommodation policy. So students who require academic accommodations for whatever reason, they should read through that particular policy piece. So I do send out communications very directly there as well. And I mean, of course, ignorance is not bliss, right? So when we send out those communications, just make sure you read through and familiarize yourself with what the policy boundaries are. And if you have any questions, of course, come and see us.
That's awesome, Danielle. Thank you. At the bottom there too, just this reminder, I know we've talked quite a bit about this, but as a university student, it is vital to take ownership of your educational journey, right? So we've touched on this a bit here and there. And so just again, this good reminder that we're here to guide, support, encourage, consult with, but we do really encourage all our students to be equipped, right? Because that's where you have that ownership piece where you're the drivers, right, of your education, your classes, all this. Awesome. Okay, next slide, please, Caitlin. Terrific. Okay, so one of the things that we really want to remind students, even in these virtual times, it's so important that, speaking of like being equipped, right, different courses, and you'll find this in your course outlines and in the Canvas sites and in consultation with your profs and lab instructors, pardon me, you need to get your resources, right? So whether that's books, it's your lab manuals, any sorts of course materials, please get on it ASAP, right? And again, you're going to hear more direction and guidance from your professors, from your instructors. However, if you don't have these materials, right, you're already going to be behind. And so then just in this way, we encourage you to get on this. And furthermore, too, in your course outlines, there's some very, very important information there, right? And so in the course outline, not only are you going to see like deadlines, you're going to understand what the learning outcomes are in this course, right? This is where you're going to find your textbook information and whatnot. So again, here at the Engineering Student Center, we really encourage you, get your textbooks, get whatever equipment you need for classes. And again, you'll find that information directly from the faculty, the instructors, and read your syllabi. Further to this, I'll put this into the chat really quickly as a bonus resource that I really encourage all of our students to check out. On campus, we have a partner unit, or like another unit on campus, called Student Learning Services. They do terrific work. They do all kinds of things, student workshops, they have handouts, they have, they call them library guides. What I've put in there, you'll find there's a whole host of resources on how to learn super well in the online learning environment. So again, I know many of you might have mastered this, but if there's some aspects of online learning where you haven't quite gotten everything out of it that you have wanted to in the last year and a half, I encourage you to check out those resources. Time management, just like my colleague Noreen mentioned, it's really, really important to stay on top of things, be aware of how to organize your time and your study efforts, and then also to just basic study skills. So I popped that in there as well. Next slide, please, Caitlin. Okay, terrific. So under the frequently asked questions, I've asked Danielle ahead of time just to kind of speak to if students are having trouble accessing PAWS. So Danielle, just walk us through, if a student here on our session is saying, hey, I have no idea how to even get into my PAWS account, what would you tell them, please? I think you're on mute, Danielle. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Of course, I was on
Okay.
mute.
No worries.
So a student first needs to activate their PAWS account, right? So make sure that your admission letter, you would have gotten a temporary password. So you need to set up your permanent password. So that is the first step. And once you've done that, you should be able to just go to PAWS, P-A-W-S, that's Personalized Access Web Services, paws.usask.ca. And these are all the resources you need. So it's really just a hub. It includes a dashboard with your degree works. Degree works is an audit of your degree, what classes you need to take, what courses you need to take. It's got, I'm looking on here, it's got your Canvas. You can access your email there as well. There are engineering student resources with program apps. And so if you can't access it, let's say your password, really you can't figure it out, then you should contact the ICT help desk. And what is their number? I don't even know. It should be in your admission letter as well.
I think so. Or even if students go to the USask webpage and type in IT support, probably, right, Danielle?
Yeah.
That should do it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then
I think
Student
so.
Central as well, so 966-1212. They're also a good resource if you're having a couple of tech issues as well. So PAWS is your hub. It really includes bits and pieces from various platforms, Canvas, our email, engineering student resources, etc. So if you're having difficulty with the basic logging on, like you're experiencing technical issues, you would have to go to IT.
Terrific. Danielle, I know our slides are kind of having issues, so that's okay, no worries. But walk students through, I'm going to put it in the chat, but walk students through, please, how to book an advising appointment online, by phone, in person, and I'll throw that chat in there, the link in there, please.
Booking an advising appointment, it's pretty easy. We're going to change this platform, so what Sarah's going to put in there, it probably will look a bit different in a month, but for the moment, we use what's called SharePoint, which is yet again another platform. You can schedule an appointment with any specific advisor, Noreen or Sarah or me. So you can choose, or you can just select whichever has the first availability. We book up really quickly. So as an example, earlier on in the summer, we were scheduling about 6 to 8 weeks ahead. So there are just unfortunately some times that are really, really busy. So it's always best to schedule sooner rather than later. You need to authenticate for the SharePoint site. So log in with your NSID and your password, and then you will be able to see the calendar and schedule an appointment. And the nice thing about scheduling that appointment is we will write notes in there, because we can talk real quick, right? So any notes we write will be included in this SharePoint site. So it's just a really, really good way of maintaining that contact, formally so, with your advisor.
That's terrific, Danielle. We're going to jump over to our student leaders. I'm aware that we are behind schedule a little bit. Caitlin, can you pop that slide in there, please, for our SES student leaders, and then you just go right ahead, please, and introduce them, and then we'll jump over to that segment.
All right, so next up, the SESS. So we have Casey and Sam here with us today. Created a little video to help you guys meet the some of the engineering student leaders. So I'm just going to share the video they created, and hopefully my computer will stop giving me hassle. And if it doesn't work, maybe I'll get Sam to share it if my computer is still giving me problems. But I'm just going to go share it right now.
Hi there, first year students. My name's Sam Risling. I'm your VP Student Affairs for the SESS, and welcome to the engineering building. Today we're going to take a little scoot around, we'll look around and meet some of our Student Society members, and along the way, learn some tips and tricks. Follow me. And then we'll cut it so I look cool. I'm trying to sit like a human being.
Do I look at the camera or you?
You can look wherever you want. This is our student lounge, and this is our VP External, Nick. What is VP External? What does it? What is it? What does it?
I represent the University of Saskatchewan and the SESS to different student organizations around Canada.
Sweet. All right, and what's your #1 tip for a first-year student?
My #1 tip is probably to get involved in maybe not SESS, but really anything. Just try and get involved. You can make a lot of friends doing that.
Probably do the SESS.
Yeah.
What was your favorite first-year subject?
My favorite first-year subject was probably chemistry and geology, kind of both, kinds of mix.
And then what are you in now?
I'm in environmental engineering.
And lastly, what's your #1 study jams?
My #1 study jam right now is probably Vampire Weekend, the album Modern Vampires of the City.
So there's a library there. That's our library, our engineering library. No books. Don't look for books in there. They won't have them. Hi, Simon.
Hey there.
Simon's our Vice President of Finance. What is one of those doing?
Pretty much, I just sort of handle all of the money and transaction sort of stuff with the SESS.
So if you had to give one tip to a first year, what would it be?
If I had to give one tip to a first year, I would probably say just don't be afraid to get out there and make friends. Would be my piece of advice.
What was your favorite subject in first year?
My favorite subject in first year would probably have to be Chem 114.
And what are you in now?
I am in chemical engineering now.
Okay, that was probably
Pretty fitting.
yeah, pretty easy guess. And all right, if you're studying, what's the best local takeout spot?
Best local takeout spot, I would have to say Red Swan Pizza in Evergreen.
This is our SESS office, and this is our president, Casey. Hi, Casey. What is a president?
You know, the big boss, the head honcho, people that keep the hooligans in check. But yeah, basically I keep communication lines open with the college, the Engineering Students Center, the dean, and I make sure other organizations know about us, and basically just make sure everything's running smoothly and legally.
All right. What is your #1 tip for a first-year student?
Keep your mental health in check. Make sure you're checking up on yourself mentally, because it's just as important as your academics, if not more. Make sure you look into the university's resources, or if you don't want to go there, come to the SESS, because we're more than happy to help you.
Casey, what was your favorite first-year subject?
Our design class, GE 121. That was way more fun than I ever thought it could be.
All right, now you get an extra one. You ready for the extra one?
Yes.
You have 1 hour of preparation time. You have access to an abandoned sport check. Do you think you could best beloved serial mascot Tony the Tiger in physical combat, and how would you accomplish this?
What? Or what do I need to do?
I don't think I could be more clear. Casey, you have 1 hour. You have access to an abandoned sport check. You must kill the man Tony the Tiger. How?
You know, just go ham. Maybe get some boxing gloves.
He's a big tiger, he ate you. He ate you and you're gone.
Well, damn.
Just keep working, like a normal human being. This is one of our in-hallway study spaces, and this is our VP of Communications, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hey, Sam.
Hi. What's your one?
So I run all of our social medias and send out emails, stuff like that. Make sure everyone's in the loop with what's going on with SESS.
And if I was a young, bright-eyed first year, what would you tell me?
I'd say don't study 24/7. You gotta do other stuff, hang with friends, sleep, eat, all that important stuff too.
What was your favorite first year topic?
I'd have to say my favorite first year topic was dynamics.
And what are you in now?
I'm now in mechanical.
Oh, it's because it's moving. So what's your favorite study beverage?
Gotta be Red Bull.
This is where Casey stole all the stuff from the vending machines. She took all of it and won't give it back, and we don't know where she hid it. Okay, this is gonna be a sweet stuff. Hi, Dylan. This is Dylan, our Vice President of Events. What do you do?
I plan just events that we can go to. I'm working on some online events so we can still have people come to it even if you feel kind of uncomfy with COVID. And just like generally just keep morale up and keep people happy and connected.
Sweet. If you had a tip to give to a first year, what would it be? Just try and keep on top of your stuff. If you can't, just like talk to your profs. They're usually pretty reasonable, and you can just explain your situation and go, hey, I can get it done by then, and then you can usually get it worked out. What was your favorite first year subject?
I gotta say, it was, I think it might have been 111, not for the content, but for the prof. It was just a really fun time.
What are you in now?
Computer engineering.
What's the best game to play to de-stress?
Doom Eternal.
End of statement. That's the only trash can in the building. Please do not use it. We only have one. Well, that's everyone else, and like 1/8 of our building. Sorry about that, by the way, if you want a full tour, link here. Like I said at the beginning, my name is Sam, and I'm your Vice President of Student Affairs, which means if you need help talking to the SESS, or faculty, or really anything, you can come to me and talk to me about it. I'm usually in the office. And now, in the interest of fairness, I will rapid fire answer all of the questions. Run the jewels 2 through 4. Taste of Syria. Demon Souls. Sparkling water. I like mechanical pencils. And the road to Valhalla is paved with tiger's blood. And my number one tip for you is that you can do this. Engineering's hard and very scary at the start, but it'll all be fine. And if you need any help, we're always here. Anyway, now is something else, probably. Bye.
That video is so awesome. I know next Caitlin's going to introduce our SES student leaders, but she might be doing some things on the back end, so I'll just give her a moment. Okay, terrific. Caitlin, I'll let you just introduce Sam and Casey a bit more, and then they'll take it away.
All right, so you guys already got to meet Sam and Casey in the video that Sam made for us. So sorry, Sam and Casey, you guys can turn on your cameras and your microphone. All right, so
hey everyone.
Hi, everyone.
So if you guys have any questions about what it's like to be a student, any questions about the building tour, these are your people to ask. So if do you guys have anything to add about the building tour that's happening this afternoon?
Make sure you sign up at that link that we gave, and it's on a couple different places before 11:30. That's our cutoff. And it's going to be very fun. We found a luchador mask in our office, and I have been told that I do have to wear it the whole tour. So that's worth the admission right there.
So a question I have been getting from students is, where do they go to meet for their tour, and how do they find this location?
Oh, Casey's run away.
I've got a sign. It'll be outside our lounge.
All right, and how early do you want students to arrive for their tours?
Do not arrive early. We have so many COVID rules we have to follow. Please meet at the lounge. Just come when your time is scheduled. You know, you don't have to be like, oh, I need to arrive early so we can move the stuff. No, we please arrive exactly at your time. The lounge is in the back of the building. There will be signs for it in case you're nervous about finding it.
I'll also add, so if you're coming, the easiest way is if you come from the archaeology building. If you come in through those doors, it's going to be right there. We've got it's the room with all the couches, so you'll be able to find us. If not, we'll be walking around with our hard hats today, so just find someone with a red hard hat. So, and then we'll be able to direct you.
All right, one last question about the building tours. Can students arrive if they don't have a tour slot booked?
No. Please book a tour slot.
Is there any times that are still available? Like I know yesterday it looked like still the 3 o'clock tour had times. Is that a still thing?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of wonderful student leaders, so luckily we are able to run quite a few tours this morning. It won't be super long, but if you would like one, there are still stuff available.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We're so thankful you guys are able to give some tours today to help our students get to know the building a little bit before they start classes. So my slides still aren't working. So that leads us into our open Q&A session. So Sarah, I don't know if you want to take it away for the answering some questions. Students, you can ask questions to myself, Sarah, Danielle, Sam, Casey. We're here to answer some questions just for the next 15 minutes.
For sure. Thanks, Caitlin. Just one quick point that just to tie up the tours piece there. So again, like as mentioned, if you haven't yet booked an in-person building tour, I believe Casey had added the Eventbrite link there that you can still sign up. Like Sam mentioned, please do so before 11:30. You won't be able to sign up after that point in time. However, again, like we will be doing the tours till almost the end of the afternoon. So just look for some of those open tour spots that you can still join in on. I put a kind reminder there, please be sure to bring your mask. The university does have the masking policy in place at present until further notice. So it's just really important you come ready with your mask, and we're just super delighted to have you here to really tour you around the building, and both for our first year students, but our second year students too. Okay, and so this actually does formally conclude our presentation for today's virtual welcome. You're welcome to stick around, like Caitlin mentioned, for the next 15 minutes of just like rapid fire questions that if you still have a lingering question that we haven't answered. But for any of those students that are gonna hop off now, again, just thanks so much for joining us for today's virtual welcome. We're so delighted to have you join us for this event, but also as our first year engineering students this year. And just have a great first day of classes tomorrow. And then for all of you that'll be in the building later today, if you see any of us, just stop us and say hello. We'll be wearing masks too, so sometimes it's hard to figure out like who the heck is this person, but just stop and feel free to introduce yourself to any of our ESC staff. So again, just thank you so much for joining us. And then I'll just ask Danielle to pop on her video if she's okay, and then Casey, Sam, and Caitlin. And then I think Carlene and Caitlin will help manage the questions. So I'll just defer to my two colleagues just to prompt us with commonly asked questions, right? Again, we're not going to get into specifics. So please, if it's your unique situation, we're not going to go into those, both for privacy and so that you actually get the personalized answers you need. But if it's a common enough question that we can have in this group setting, we'll do that. So I'll just stop talking and then I'll let either Caitlin or Carlene prompt us with our first question, please.
All right, so I'm gonna actually have to leave soon, Sarah, because I have another meeting. But let me take a look at the chat and see if there are any questions.
We had lots of questions come in about top-ups. And maybe just if it reiterate that, how does that all work? Does it have to be completed? And then what dates do they need to be completed by?
Sure, so the top-ups is a great question. For the particular courses that do have top-ups, you would find all that information in your Canvas sites. So again, I strongly recommend that all students go into your Canvas sites. For the top-ups, many of them you would have already received communications, I believe end of July, beginning of August. The top-ups themselves are organized and coordinated by our first year teaching team, right? And so this is where I want to direct you to the source material, because whether it's Dr. Frey or Dr. Sean Ma or Dr. Shebo Huang, right? All of our instructors would have indicated that very specific, precise information. Danielle might have the dates top of mind, or perhaps Noreen. I don't want to speak out of turn. Yeah, but really these are organized by our faculty colleagues, your instructors, the first year instructors. So again, I just really strongly recommend that you're checking your Canvas sites, looking for the top-ups. And for any students that are unfamiliar with how top-ups work, these are meant as refreshers such that you're ready to hit the ground running in these next couple days of classes starting. Does anybody else, Danielle or anything else to add about top-ups that's key?
No,
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Well, because I'm confused, are they optional or required this year? This is a pilot.
Required.
Required. Okay, the website says optional. So
it's assignment 0.
Okay. So we do have a bit of a disconnect in communication there.
And just to be honest about it, like for students, there's really nothing negative that you could get from completing top-ups. It will help you. It will not result in it. It's not going to be part of your grade if that's what you're worried about, but at the same time, it will help you get ready for the real materials for the course. So why not do it as early as possible, so that if you notice that you are not strong in something, you still have time to review, to assess yourself, and maybe do some more reading, so that when you start your first year classes, you will not be behind.
That's excellent, Noreen. Thank you. Yeah, the top-ups are really meant just to make sure everyone is sharp and ready to hit the ground running. Absolutely. Yeah. Carlene, can you feed us another question, please? One of the common questions that, or Caitlin, pardon me.
I have one that I'll maybe just share. I'll just share my screen to make sure you guys know where to go. So on our website, all right, Sarah, can you see my screen? All right, so this is a really important page that you guys should all check out. It's on College of Engineering, information for first years. Make sure to check your application and all your documents have been submitted. So make sure you have that. This is where the handbook is located. We have a few events that you can watch the recordings of. The summer top-up information is here, and as you can see, they are mandatory in all the different courses. And if you want to read more about summer top-ups, you can learn more in your student handbook. This is also where your schedules are. So these were just posted this morning. And the way you can read these is if you're, let's say you're in block 1, you can click on block 1. And if you open this up, it'll show you a PDF of where your courses are and what time they're at. So you can see that if you're in this block, remote, you can see where the courses are. So this one is located in Arts 263. And so if you're not sure where that is, I would recommend asking the student leaders on your building tour.
Caitlin, while you're screen sharing, I'm just going to ask you to screen share 2 other things. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So, because you're almost there already, can you please on this webpage just go up a little bit further and actually open up that student handbook and just show students where the handbook link is, please? Because this is what we were referring to. Perfect. So again, just a good reminder for any students who haven't yet found the handbook or need to review it or would like to skim it, this is absolutely the document that we were chatting about. So that's terrific, Caitlin. Yeah, so please, all students, like, make sure you're reading this. It has really, really key information. We've touched on many of these aspects, but this is, these are the key meat and potatoes and vegetables for this year. And then Caitlin, also while you're screen sharing, can you just please go back to the college website and then under the students tab, just bring up the link for academic advising, please. So right from the College of Engineering website under students, and then it's like partway down that, yeah.
All right, so here's again on the College of Engineering website.
Just so all our students can know absolutely how to find us at the ESC, and perfect, yeah, please. So then this is what we were talking about too, right? And so, yeah, exactly, please, Caitlin, just, this takes you to our booking system. So then here, for all our students, again, who are not yet familiar how to book appointments, all students should have the ability to go in, book your online appointment. If you run into any troubles, of course, you can call our administrative assistants here at the main desk. You can email, and of course, come in person too, because our college is operating quite in person as needed. That's perfect, Caitlin, thank you.
Sarah, there's a lot of students asking how they see their block number.
I might actually ask Noreen or Danielle. I don't know if the actual number,
Like
where,
that,
yeah, Noreen, could
your
you
block number
please?
will be your section. So if you notice that your classes are in section 1 or section 2, that means your block is 1 or 2, right?
Noreen, can you tell us, like, on the pause portal, like when students are in, like, just tell us where they're seeing that number, please. Like, just drill it down a little bit more specifically. I
haven't.
I can't picture it right. No, I know, but sorry, I'm not in there today or yesterday. So just or Danielle, an approximate, where are they looking for that aspect in the pause portal,
Because
right?
actually my pause looks different from the student's pause account. So, and I haven't really checked lately. I know that the student's pause changed the look. We might have to ask the student first to log in into their account, and then we could guide them where to find it. But right now, I'm going blind. I don't know exactly. So maybe some of the SESS might be able to, SESS executive will be able to guide us, because their pause will look exactly the same as the first year courses, the first year student. So.
I know, I think Sam is a second year, so I don't know if his view would be the same. And I can't remember, I think Casey's a third year, so I'm not sure, yeah.
But it is a student account, so it will look the same.
Okay.
Like where to find things. Ours
Right.
look different.
I'm just thinking because they're not registered in first year classes, right? That it might not be showing up. In any event, for all our students listening, the registration system, as you all know, it's brand new, right? The block registration. So that was rolled out in June for our college. We're working through lots of the glitches. I wish we had a precise answer where to show you to look for that block number. If you're still really struggling and you go into your pause account in the portal where you registered for classes and you can't see anything, you're more than welcome to follow up with the ESC. Send us a quick email, esc@usask.ca. If our advising team in the next 24 to 48 hours has a quick answer, Danielle's really excellent in sending out like group communications. So as soon as we can get to the bottom of like an example how to show students, we can send that message out in the next, today's Wednesday, so between today and Friday, if students aren't able to figure that out. But in the meantime, if you're really troubled by not being able to see your section number, just email the ESC and we will work with students one-on-one to troubleshoot this issue.
I think, Sarah, you mentioned it, the best place, at least now, outside of their boss, the best place to find their section would be under the registration tab, because it will show the sections of which classes they're registered in.
That's correct. So pause registration, and in there you should see schedule at some point. And it'll look really confusing because you should see a timetable, which is color coded. It looks really confusing because all of your classes are listed as though they start all in September, which is not the case. So you won't see a week by week schedule, which is really confusing. We recognize that, and your instructors will email you with specific, this is week 1, this is week 2. So they should be emailing you with that information. And then to the right of your timetable, you should be able to see details, class details. And if you click on the title of each class, so click on GE132, click on the title, that will bring up class details. And if you look at instructor meeting times, then it gives you that week by week breakdown. And it will give you, in there, it should give you the section number as well. So I think section 8 would be block 8 or something like that, right, Noreen?
Yes, whatever section is showing up, that's their block. And some people have the same block in both terms, and some sections chose different blocks in each term, so they could check it under registration tab.
These are all really good aspects to keep in mind, right? Even us, for our students who are here, as well as any staff or faculty who are joining us, but like we too are learning all the ins and outs of the system, right? So we appreciate your patience too with us as we're not even masters yet of the new block registration, right? So it's a bit of a learning curve too for us. So we appreciate your patience with that. Carlene or Kaylin, is there maybe one last frequently or commonly asked question that you're seeing in the chat that maybe one of you could articulate, and then we'll just take that as a closing question. We're almost out of time here.
I was actually just going to open it up that if one person would like to raise their hand, I can unmute them and they're more than welcome to ask their question verbally and kind of virtually. And then just a reminder is that please, if it is a specific question, an individual question, is that we actually won't answer it and we'll just move to the next question. So if you do have a question on the WebEx function, you can just raise your hand and I'll be able to, oh, perfect. I see Matt and Brandon. Matt popped up first. So Matt, I am going to send you a request to unmute and you'll be able to ask your question. Matt, you should be able to be good to go to ask.
Online classes and in-person labs. What is expected of us, and is there a place on campus where we're allowed to go just to do online calls and stuff? Say we can't go home that day or something?
I think a good place to go would be the library. And there are also a lot of spaces within the building. If you are in the College of Engineering building, like there are tables and chairs around the building, especially on the second floor. And maybe the SESS students can actually maybe give you some ideas and where's the quiet, if you want a quiet place or if you want to attend your online class with somebody else, where's the best place to go. And if your in-person class is outside of engineering building and you want somewhere near, then it depends. Again, there are always seats or study spaces around campus. But say if at the very beginning, maybe the best place would be the library while you familiarize yourself and those different spaces that you can use later on.
I'm just going to interject just to add to Noreen's comment. You'll see I put in a link that yet a different colleague, Danielle Hoffman, has written about the library. So our library is under transition at the moment. It's becoming an engineering learning commons. So as Caitlin alluded to earlier, or maybe Sam, somebody, but there's no books in our library. They've been moved to a different repository. And our librarian, Miss Helen Power, is amazing, but she herself has confirmed as of last week that unfortunately the library is not yet open here in the building. So Miss Power is working on getting that library space open so that it can be a learning commons for our students, but just so there's not a little bit of confusion, it's not quite there yet. Our leaders this afternoon will point out the library, so absolutely as soon as it's open, y'all bang down those doors of the learning commons, like there's no doubt about it, but just not quite yet. So I just wanted to add that little bit of change that's happening here here on the home front. So
I think that's a great question overall that was asked, and I think a really great thing with anything on campus, my tip and trick is go to Google, is your best friend, and just type in places to study, USask, places to eat, USask Banff. Lots of the questions just by typing in your question and then also tagging in USask is a great way to kind of get that up. And Sam, I see you wanted to throw in a tip and advice as well.
Yeah, I did
if you want a space to take calls or do work or watch me be very bad at Pokemon, it is the student lounge. We are there for you. We have snacks. So please, if you want to hang out or just need a quiet place to study or whatever, please just come down to us. We are always open and chill.
Perfect. So I think with that, Sarah, it looks like we're kind of at the end of the time, unless you guys want to take one more question. I know that it's a busy, busy day for everyone. So we might just need to sign off. But we have recorded the session as well as recording the chat. And just once that reminder again is that if there is any questions, please email ESC, so that's Engineering Student Center, ESC at usask.ca. Sarah, and I'll pass it back to you for kind of final closing remarks.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just thank you so much everyone for joining us today. Thank you for Dean Cresta for bringing greetings, all of our ESC staff who have been here, Sam and Casey on behalf of our student leaders, and also to my great colleagues, Carlene and Caitlin, helping us so much both with hosting and behind the scenes tech things. Again, we look forward to seeing many of you in our building today, later for the tours, and have a great tour. Thanks for joining us and have an awesome first day of classes tomorrow, everyone. Best of luck. Bye for now.